after Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps naval forces launched coordinated suicide drone attacks against 3 United States Navy vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz, killing 19 American sailors aboard a logistics support ship, the full weight of American military power shifted from deterrence to active combat operations. The Secretary of Defense authorized unrestricted offensive action against all Iranian military targets. No phased approach. No incremental escalation. Everything at once. The first asset to receive the execution order was the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship operating in the northern Arabian Sea. The commanding officer authenticated the encrypted flash message and passed the word over the ship's announcing system. All hands to battle stations. Below the flight deck in the hangar bay, Marines and Navy aviation maintainers moved in every direction. 8 F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters were parked in tight formation, folding wings raised, protective covers still on the intakes. Maintenance chiefs shouted directions over generator noise. The aircraft had been kept at high readiness for weeks, needing only final preparation before combat launch. The first team descended on the nearest F-35B. Intake covers came off. A technician pulled the red fabric plugs from the dorsal intake behind the cockpit, exposing the opening that fed air to the Pratt & Whitney F-135 turbofan, the most powerful single engine ever installed in a fighter. The exhaust cover was removed from the 3-bearing swivel nozzle that gave the F-35B its vertical landing capability. A second team opened the weapons bay doors on the belly. The F-35B carried its combat load internally to preserve stealth. No external pylons. Nothing visible to radar. Weapons loaders wheeled in 2 Jibu 32 JDAM 1,000-pound GPs, guided bombs, on a loading cart. Each bomb was lifted into the internal bay and locked onto the weapon stations. Wiring harness connected. Databus handshake verified on a portable test set. Green across the board. Bay doors closed, sealing the weapons inside. From outside, the aircraft looked clean. On the opposite side of the hangar, another F-35B was loaded with a mixed configuration. One station carried an AIM 120D AMRAAM air-to-air missile for self-defense. The other carried a Gibu 53B Stormbreaker smart bomb with a tri-mode seeker that could hit moving targets in any weather. This aircraft would fly dual role, ready for ground strikes and air combat without breaking its stealth signature. Avionics technicians powered up each aircraft's AN/APG-81 radar and ran full diagnostics, the most advanced airborne sensor in the world, capable of tracking dozens of targets simultaneously. System passed on every aircraft. The AN/AH-37 distributed aperture system was checked next. 6 infrared sensors around the fuselage providing 360-degree awareness displayed on the pilot's helmet visor. Each sensor confirmed operational. The AN/ASC-239 electronic warfare suite was activated. Any surviving Iranian radar that lit up would be detected, located, and either jammed or targeted for destruction. Fuel topped off through the single-point refueling port. Gauges checked. Hoses disconnected. One by one, the F-35Bs were towed to the aft elevator. The massive platform lifted each aircraft from the hangar to the flight deck. Deck crew in colored jerseys guided each fighter into launch position. Yellow jerseys directed movement. Blue jerseys chalked wheels. Red jerseys stood by for weapons arming. The F-35B needed no catapult. The Rolls-Royce lift system, a shaft-driven lift fan behind the cockpit and the swivel nozzle at the rear, allowed short takeoff from a deck run of a few hundred feet. The pilots had been in the ready room since the alert sounded, reviewing target packages on classified tablets. Ingress routes, threat rings, emergency diverts, tanker points. They strapped on G-suits, survival vests, and sidearms, then picked up custom-fitted helmets worth over $400,000 each, integrating night vision, augmented reality targeting, and distributed aperture feeds directly into the visor. The squadron commander gave the final brief. 8 aircraft. 4 two-ship elements. Element 1 would strike a surviving coastal radar installation. Element 2 would hit a Revolutionary Guard fast-attack boat staging port. Element 3 would fly combat air patrol, intercepting any Iranian fighters. Element 4 on standby for dynamic targeting. The brief lasted 4 minutes. On the flight deck, the first F-35B sat at the aft end, engine running, exhaust nozzle glowing faintly. The yellow jersey gave the signal. The pilot released brakes and pushed the throttle forward. The aircraft rolled down the deck, accelerating rapidly. At the designated point, the nozzle rotated downward, lift fan doors opened, and the aircraft lifted off the deck edge, climbing into the dark sky. Gear retracted. Lift fan doors closed. Nozzle rotated horizontal. The jet accelerated through 300 knots. 45 seconds later, the second F-35B lifted off. Then the third. then the fourth. Within 6 minutes, all 8 stealth fighters were airborne and turning north toward Iran. On radar, they were invisible. The F-35B's cross-section was smaller than a metal golf ball. Iranian radar operators would see nothing. 1,000 miles west, a different weapon was being positioned. At a forward location in the Jordanian desert, a battery of M142 HIMARS was setting up. Each HIMARS was a 6-wheeled armored